Oh, come on now. Why would somebody even publish this? This footage is absolute junk. What the heck? Oh wait, that's one of my videos from over 4 years ago. Yes, you have to start somewhere. Alright, enough. That's painful to watch. Before I get too in-depth in this video, if you hear a little snoring in the background, it's because my executive producer is napping on the job. Good morning, guys, from Seward, Alaska. My name's Ben with Hisandhersvlogs. That's Shelby snoring over in the corner, and my better half is making a run to Anchorage today. So on this little homestand, it's a great opportunity for us to download a lot of what we've learned from years of producing YouTube videos while traveling. And you're probably wondering, why is this slop junk of a video still up on our channel? It's very intentional. I think it's inspirational for the viewers to be able to go back in time and see how their favorite YouTubers got started. Most of us were not professionals when we started our channel. And I know these videos are absolutely painful to watch, but it also reminds us of where we came from, which makes the destination of where we're going all the better. So welcome to Your Drone Footage Sucks, How to Fix It and Get Paid. Yes, I said get paid. Stick around towards the end of the video and we'll get into how we've started generating passive income off of footage that's been sitting on our hard drives for years. Some obligatory business. Why don't you just go ahead and hit that subscribe button to our channel for travel, adventure, lessons from the road. Then head on over to our website, Hisandhershub.com, for exclusive videos, resources, and more engagement. So there is no debating this one aspect of video creation, but my favorite part, hands down, is capturing content. It's the thrill of hunting for the shot and capturing it that really feeds my wild side. Editing is rewarding, but more of a chore in my book. Sharing is always great, but my real passion is for capturing awesomeness. And I truly believe with the technology of modern drones, just about anyone is capable of capturing cinematic footage. Let's start with the basics about these flying cameras, also known as drones or UAVs. And it has to start with safety, guys. An unmanned aerial vehicle, there's rules and there's laws for flying them, and they are for everybody's protection. I highly suggest UAV Coach for your FAA Part 107 testing. I had an amazing experience with them. Now that FAA stuff's out of the way, let's talk about having fun capturing footage. Square one starts with a harsh reality. It's getting harder and harder to legally fly drones. Depending on where you live, be prepared to drive a good distance to find something worth shooting that's in an area that you can legally fly. In our travels, we seek out sparsely populated areas because it allows us to drive and fly, baby. Rebecca takes the wheel, I take the controls, and we capture some amazing footage. And you'd be surprised, there are a lot of naturally beautiful areas where you can still legally fly your drone. If time is on your side, try capturing footage when lighting is the best. I'm talking about golden hour. Twice a day, the sun is low on the horizon and gives everything a special glow. If you are randomly traveling and capturing footage along the way, make the best of the conditions and accept that there are things out of your control and maybe the shot was not meant to be. Make sure to set your body and controller up for a safe flight. You know, phones are getting larger again and they may not perfectly fit into the clamps on like the Mavic controllers. A lot of people opt to use tablets, but whatever you can do to take the pressure off, there's a lot of accessories out there, but simply taking a lean or maybe something bearing the weight of the controller, but whatever it takes for you to get that smooth as silk footage by having precise controls over the joysticks is what you're shooting for. And also, if you notice your screen ever is just dim or not bright like it should be, check your screen brightness and turn it up. For some reason, they have a way of sneaking down. All right, you're now on location. It's the right time of day. You're in a commanding position. Now what? It's time to get in touch with the Force and unleash those Jedi powers, because I want you guys to fly with vision and intent. See the shot, line up the shot, be the shot, find the best lighting, set focus, dial in the camera settings. You're gonna start clips and stop clips. None of this hit record and capture everything. that does nothing but chew up space on your SD card, hard drives, and time by cleaning up the junk footage. I'll say it again. Every move you make has to be deliberate. You are nothing but a human being getting in the way of a camera that is capable of capturing cinematic awesomeness. So moving on now. Open landscape shots, they're great and all that, but adding a subject really levels you up. The subject does not have to be a person. It can be a natural feature. It can move in and out of frame. There can even be more than one subject. Simply adding something for the viewer to focus on engages the brain in a positive way. One of the most important points when editing drone footage is trim out the junk. I'm talking about those little adjustments while you line up the shot, or even if you slip while making a shot and there's that jerk in the middle of the clip. Unless it's part of a really cool, unique transition, just don't do it. But it's time to move on into flying the drone, and this is where a lot of people really mess things up. Because if what's going into the camera is junk, what's coming out of the camera is junk as well. Fortunately, it's a lot easier than you think to capture worthy clips. In reality, 5, 10, maybe 15 seconds of smooth footage is really all that you need. Since we're maintaining a square one approach, let's start with the most basic of shots, and that's flying straight forward. Start a flight in a forward direction and don't move for 15 to 30 seconds or even more depending on preferences. Literally pick a course, hold it without making any changes. If you can pull off this one type of shot, you will have usable, worthy footage. And this is the absolute minimum you need to be able to produce from your drone flights. A smooth hand and practice really help when adding more elements to your shot. You know, an elementary breakdown of the directions you can fly are up, down, left, right, forward, reverse, and don't forget the gimbal. The reveal you get when combining elements is amazing. Keep in mind, you still have the same goal of no harsh movements for 15 to 30 seconds. Hold your course, don't change a thing, and remember to breathe. Your footage is really going to start popping at this point, and just kind of keep in mind, the more elements you add to a shot, the better your footage is going to get. The best part about multiple elements is the reveal. A reveal is a shot where a subject comes into frame or out of frame as you fly your course. It triggers a what's next emotion, especially when the view keeps getting better and better. Next up, I want you to get close to your subject. How close? Real close. Try to get as close as you can get while maintaining safe control of your aircraft. Filling the frame can look equally as amazing as a wide shot with a lot of context. If there's a shot you really want to capture, don't be afraid to do 2, 3, or even 4 takes. The icing on the cake that really helps beginner drone pilots capture cinematic footage has to do with the technology. On modern drones, the settings are very adjustable. Everything from joystick responsiveness to flight controls of the aircraft can be customized to your preferences. There are also intelligent flight modes, which are manufacturer presets that are very helpful. Our favorite has to be cinematic. It's great because the joysticks are not as sensitive and you get a smoother transition into your movements. I also find it's very forgiving when bouncing around in a truck trying to capture the shot. I feel it's noteworthy to mention tripod mode. It's a preset that maxes the drone out at a very slow speed, and it is ideal for getting really close to your subject. Moving on, let's get into the follow me modes. Not a big fan of these unless you are by yourself. You are the pilot in command of the aircraft, so fly the thing. Your footage will turn out so much better with the creative angles obtained by actually flying the drone. Like I said, follow me mode is great for when you're by yourself and don't have someone to drive while you fly in sparsely populated areas. So there's no shortage of accessories out for drones. I'm going to touch on 2 of them that I think are very crucial and very fundamentally basic. First up, your SD card. If you're going through all this effort to capture beautiful cinematic content, you want to store it on quality media or all that effort is for naught. Plain and simple. Next up, I have to recommend these Polar Pro filters. They make them for all different cameras on the drones, and think of them like a set of sunglasses. It takes the edge off and levels you up once again. Well, now that your footage does not suck anymore, let's share a little bit about a platform called BlackBox.global. Show us a little social love if you like what I'm sharing here. Use our referral code because every little bit helps when you're out here trying to fulfill your dreams. So, the end of 2018 is when we entered the stock footage industry. I've wanted to do it for years, but the thought of just going through all the clips, trimming them up, uploading them to multiple agencies, it was just too overwhelming. Then I heard about this platform called BlackBox Global, and what they do is they're essentially a middle person, but they get the content from you, you upload it in one place, and they distribute it. At this time, I believe it's up to 5 agencies can list your footage. So it's a very leveraged move, and we are all about leverage. Another thing that I really had to have help, because part of our journey, we realized that collaboration and partnerships are the key to success. And I never could have done this alone without an amazing team of curators. But what's a curator? A curator is someone who, for 20%, will take your footage and tip, tail, trim into clips that are worthy of being posted on stock sites. And they'll also do some mild color grading. Then for another 20%, there's the other part of the process, which is actually uploading the footage to BlackBox, doing the metadata, the descripting, and all that stuff. Both very, very important steps. And for 40%, we paid curators to help us get our footage online. So I spent literally pretty much the entire holiday season of 2018, starting at Thanksgiving, dedicated to mining our hard drives for footage. We have a bunch of these things, and there's awesomeness on there. And it's been doing absolutely nothing, but I spent 60, 80 hours for 6 weeks just getting those things and then getting it uploaded to the cloud so I could send out projects to the curation team. And that curation team really helped us leverage our efforts, because in that period around the holidays, I've really busted my tail and everybody else was working really hard. We got about 1,200 clips online in about 6 weeks. And that right there is a good first step to establishing our presence in the stock footage industry. One thing you need to keep in mind if you're going to be working with curators is that your footage has to be hot. They are not going to work on junk footage, and the agencies will reject junk footage. I've reserved creating this review video of sorts for BlackBox until we've established a good solid proof of concept. And I feel that it's to that point where we have solid proof of concept, because we're now earning passive income off of footage that has been doing absolutely nothing but sitting on our hard drives. So here's my dashboard on the back office of BlackBox.global. It takes about 30 to 90 days for your footage to start being picked up by the algorithm, and most of ours went online in January because there was a gap from the agencies for the holidays. So you can see we earned $25 in February, $66 March, $96 April, $147 in March, took a dip in June at $106, and so far 12 days into July we're $112. And you're wondering, gee, how much do you make off of each clip? Well, that really varies because the percentages, because if somebody does 20% curation, 40% curation, or does everything themselves. But as you can see, $16, $14, $55, $13, $12, $11, 6 cents, guys. That's a referral kickback from BlackBox. Hey, it's not much, but when you're out here trying to follow your dreams, every little bit counts. But yeah, that's what I have going on in BlackBox, and we are very, very happy. And if you want to learn more, just see the video description for a link. Just like with most things in life and business, stock footage is purely a numbers game. They say you need about 500 clips online before you start seeing regular sales. As of today, we are at like 1,467. Probably have about another 110, 120 out for curation right now. Testing the waters because I've noticed a pattern of one style of clip selling. So went into the hard drives and grabbed a bunch more of that type of footage just to test the waters. It's called A/B testing. We're very happy with BlackBox also because it is truly passive income. And that's a very big component to being successful and having the ability to follow your dreams. But passive income is a one-time effort, repeated dividends. And we uploaded that footage once. It's done. This is like the jelly of the month club. It just keeps giving, guys. Very, very excited. So that's a wrap. Make sure you check the video description for links to any of the things that I've mentioned. Head on over to our website, hisandhershub.com, for more resources, education, and engagement. Hit that subscribe button, and we will see you on the next one. A lot of help you were, executive producer. You slept through the entire video.